to Big Fish Side Dish, the redheaded stepchild companion piece to Big Fish in the Middle Kingdom. I don't know, is that politically incorrect to say that? If I'm going to say it, this is the place to say it.
Let's ask redheaded people.
Let's do that. I've got some redheaded friends, including my mom. We'll start there.
All right,
although it's not red anymore. She dyes it. I'll have to ask mom.
Okay.
So, as you can tell, I'm not alone because that's how this works. I am here for a fun, raw, unedited, and hopefully pretty interesting, and I think it will be, conversation with a returning champion from Big Fish in the Middle Kingdom, someone who's been on before, and I'm very glad to have you back in Big Fish headquarters, Mr. ELLIOTT ZAAGMAN.
I'm happy to be here, Brendan.
Literally blew me back away from
Getting the side dish with the big fish.
All right. So we're going to keep our volume down slightly so my neighbors don't have their own bootleg version of the show.
Right.
That's okay. That's okay. No, you're good, man. It's nice to have a guest with a radio voice, and that's going to come in handy soon. Not to get ahead of ourselves, but we're not going to bury the lead either. Today, we're going to talk about 4 broad categories of things. ELLIOTT, what are those things we're going to talk about in bullet pointy form?
The first one is that I'm here because I'm launching a podcast.
That's an excellent idea.
Yes.
I think so.
So
for you, especially.
My co-host is a man named James Hull. Right? James Hull is a portfolio manager in Beijing. Between the two of us, we have about 20 years of China experience, right?
Wowza.
And we've both been kind of involved in the tech industry here in China, right? Mm-hmm. So what we are doing is we are launching a podcast called the China Tech Investor Podcast. Mm-hmm. We are seeking truth from facts when it comes to, as Deng Xiaoping would say,
I'm a big fan of the phrase. Yeah.
When it comes to Chinese tech stocks.
Right.
So, and IPOs as well.
Awesome. So that's numero uno.
Yes.
And we're going to drill down to all these. Numero dos.
Well, first, numero uno. Let me finish. Let me finish with numero uno. Okay.
I'll sit back.
So it's powered by TechNode.
Ooh.
All right. So it comes to the masses. Thank you. Thanks to technode.com.
Our friends at technode.com.
Yeah,
John Artman.
Exactly.
And yes.
Yeah. So he is our producer.
Excellent. Hi, John.
Yeah. Hi, John. So anyway, so that's the first thing. We're doing we're having a watch list of kind of China tech stocks that we're looking into. We're not experts or anything like that. We're just kind of retail investors who like to play around with our money and lose our money. And and sometimes gain some money, and just kind of look into what try to learn more about these companies, and and hopefully kind of build a community of people who are also interested in this kind of stuff, and just want to get some clarity on it because there's so much hype when it comes to these companies, and also the rules that would apply to a Silicon Valley tech company don't really apply here. So we just want to ask a bunch of questions and kind of figure out, what makes these companies go? Why would this company be a good investment? Hopefully, make some money for ourselves and for our listeners. So you can search, it will be clearing iTunes by the time that this airs.
Okay,
right?
great.
So you could search the China Tech Investor Podcast on iTunes, on wherever else you get your podcast. Mm-hmm. And or it's we'll be posting everything up on technode.com, and hopefully we'll be having it on Himalaya as well. So because to us it's very important. Actually, this is part of the reason. I write about a lot of things, right? And there's a lot of stuff when it comes to China that you might write about, and they're like, oh shit, I shouldn't write about that. That'll get me blocked, right? So what I like about China tech stocks is that it's something we have a very narrow focus, right? But it's a lens through which you can look at so much of China in a way that is probably not going to get you blocked, right? So we can,
fingers crossed,
right? Knock on.
Hey, it's IKEA. We'll call it wood.
Okay, there's wood in there somewhere.
Wood grain plastic, yes.
Yeah. So that's part of it, right? And then also, I think a lot of my Chinese friends are really, really interested in this kind of stuff.
Sure.
Right? So, but there's also so much propaganda basically around these companies in China.
Wait, what? What? Okay.
So that it's really hard to know what's actually going on. So we're hoping to kind of drill down with a lot of that stuff.
And this is going to air. This new show is everywhere. As you're listening to this, we're recording this about a week and a half ahead of the air date of this episode. So your show's live, right now. It's there. I know it's ellipse now, but it should be everywhere by the time this is out.
Absolutely.
So tell everybody again the title, because
China Tech Investor Podcast.
Sweet. And,
Yeah.
of course, it will also be linked, you know where? Big Fish in the Middle Kingdom world. There you go.
Cool.
I'll link you up.
Number two
Dos.
is there is a very interesting podcast that I'm super psyched about.
Cool.
Right?
Cool. Is this something that I would
Maybe.
be interested?
I don't know.
Would I want to watch this maybe, or is this something that you think has got a good potential for?
So the podcast is called How China Works, right?
Yeah.
And it's hosted by this guy Brendan Davis,
Hey.
right? And this girl Ying Lee.
Okay,
right?
all right,
And,
get her name right. She's
they're-
a car common friend, actually.
Yeah, they're a couple of friends of mine, right?
Sweet.
So they have a podcast that's going to be coming out daily,
Yes.
and it's going to be these short, kind of very compact, knowledge-filled, entertaining tidbits about kind of how to live, work, do business in
All
the Middle
kinds of
Kingdom.
stuff.
Yeah.
AKS.
How to be in the Middle Kingdom like a big fish, right?
That's
Right.
that's the real. Thank you for
Right.
that.
To not end up with a hook in your lip either.
Hey, I like it. Very nice. In all sincerity, you know, we are super freaking excited about this show.
Yeah.
And again, as this is coming out right now, that you're listening to this, we are in our second week of How China Works, and so 8-week crash course in becoming China smart, if you're an outsider, and for Chinese people who want to go global. They already speak enough English to follow it. The idea is that here's how things work east and west. Here's how we can all either get along or figure each other out, or if there is a fairly unbridgeable gap, at least understand why that is, what it is, so you can kind of figure out like a workaround. And that's the goal with the whole thing.
What I really like about this idea is how kind of versatile and kind of sustainable or long lasting it can be, right? So it can, you know, let's say you're an English teacher in China and you're preparing people for to go to school abroad, right?
Right.
You know, you can assign them a podcast, right?
I love where your head's at, because that's actually, we one of the categories, and you know this because you're getting, I mean, you have John Artman, I think, doing a lot of the nuts and bolts EP sort of stuff under the hood, probably, but you choose 3 categories when you submit your podcast, you know, to iTunes and the stores. And so there's your main category, like where most people find us, and you have a secondary and a third category. So my third category is education and training. I mean, we're business, and we're society and culture, and then we're, you know, education and training are the 3 categories for this podcast.
So I haven't listened to any of it yet.
Yeah, I'll give you the preview, but it'll be on. Everybody else can, like, I got 2 weeks of it. I don't know what your problem is. I'll give you the preview.
So unless I have every reason to believe it will be a good podcast,
You're cautiously optimistic that it's not horrible,
right? But I just think, you know, I've done, you know, just a lot of I've done, you know, a lot of corporate training work in China.
Sure.
I've worked in-house for a lot of different companies, you know, who are trying to globalize. And I just think that, you know, to have something like that I could just be like, here, listen to these 10 episodes. And then, you know, let me know what do you think about it. That would have been something that would be so useful for me.
Well, that's awesome to hear, because that really is the conceit of the thing. And as I was telling you before we started rolling here, when I was kind of going through some of the deeper stuff, like the plans for later with it, there are a lot of questions, a lot of things. I mean, I know how I intersect with some of these questions we're going to cover, but I mean, I've got questions. I'm looking to Picking Ying's brain, and she's also got things to ask me, and we're researching like crazy with this stuff.
Yeah.
So, like you said at the beginning of your kind comments for me, you know, is that for us is that it's a lot of stuff crammed into a really tight little info nugget.
Yeah, and for so many of I remember when I first came to China, you know, that first year was really rough. Like if I just had on the plane, if I just like...
We're trying to just like flatten that learning curve, you know.
That would have been so helpful. Because the thing is, I'm an audio learner, right? So
that's your mode of learning.
Well, I had bought all these books, right, for the plane, and then what did I do? I remember in 2008, the first time I ever came to China. What did I do?
2008. I'm trying to think. What was the movie? What did you watch on loop?
The movie was it was a really bad Matthew McConaughey romantic comedy.
Well, that's not redundant at all, but good.
Okay.
He's a great actor, but
yes.
His rom-com is a little long in the tooth.
Anyways, How China Works, although I'm sure your listeners are already pretty excited about it.
Well, I hope so. I hope we haven't talked them out of excitement.
So,
thank you for that, kindly for that.
So number three is something that hopefully I'll have an article out about in 2 to 3 weeks, probably.
Yeah, cool.
We're looking at that
so
time frame.
About a week or two after you're hearing this, you the listener.
Yeah. So it'll be I'm partnering with Pan Daily, and we're hopefully we'll put it out on a number of different platforms. But one thing that I've noticed from the clients that I've worked with here in China, and just from being kind of around the China tech industry, is there were some clients that I worked with personally, who ended up becoming very good friends of mine. These kind of these China tech founders, who one, they often had a background in journalism, right? And then they became these billion-dollar plus company CEOs.
Not a typical path in the States.
Exactly, but a number of them, right?
Yeah.
And just people that I found particularly refreshing, and I just clicked with, right? So people who are now just every time I come to China, we get coffee. Just these really. I mean, they're not saints, but like just people who I just think are really cool folks. Yeah. And one of the things that when I ask, like, how did you get your start? Tell me about 10 years ago when you first got into the business. And there's this common story a lot of them have, where they were involved with what is now Geek Park, right? So it's going to get called Jike Gongyuan. So it's a media outlet, tech media outlet here in China, and they do some kind of accelerator type stuff, and they have some big events, and but their founder, this guy named Zhang Peng, he started about 10 years ago. He was an editor for this magazine called CEO CIO here in China, and with him, his journalists that were under him, of 4 journalists, right, 2 of them are either senior executives or founders of multi-billion-dollar companies.
Companies like
Zhihu, right, or Xiaomi, right? And or they're big venture capital, LPs at venture capital firms, and then also they would have these kind of meetups in this basement in Beijing, where it was kind of an accelerator before there were accelerators.
They were incubating before there was an incubation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thing.
So you'd have you'd have these meetups, and in these meetups in the same room, you'd see, okay, there's Wang Xing from the founder of Meituan, that's a $50+ billion company, right? And then you have Lei Jun, who's from Xiaomi, right? That's a $40 billion company. You have you'd have Zhang Yiming from ByteDance, we can talk about later. Yeah. They're a $75 billion company, right? Hu Weiwei, who's the founder of Mobike, right? They're a $3 billion company, right? And she was a journalist for Geek Park, and it's just person after person after person.
So this means you're next.
Hopefully, we'll see, man.
Sweet.
But they just these, and each one of them, there's this kind of common theme. It's that when you look at the attitude that they take, the product and user focus that they have, there's a reason why, like, Mobike is better to ride than Ofo. There's a reason why Xiaomi is different, and they're better for their users than Oppo or Vivo, and Xiaomi is a brand, right? What Xiaomi's about, right? So a lot of the, a lot of these people that came out of this network, like they have this kind of, there's a sense of just a little more kind of a product orientation, a user orientation, a philosophy that really has caught on with a lot of the Chinese internet or the Chinese internet companies, and it's a really cool story. So I'm in Beijing right now because I'm looking into that. I'm talking to a lot of folks who are involved in that, and hopefully we'll have an article out about it in the next couple of weeks, and maybe, who knows, maybe a book or some podcast about it down the line.
That sounds like a pretty that is very ripe for the mining. That topic and these stories are pretty incredible. And you were telling me we had the kind of the longer conversation actually before we got on the air about this, just kind of riffing on some other related things, and the future of where these people are going, just like with the PayPal mafia folks, like founding LinkedIn and Tesla and SpaceX, and I mean on
YouTube.
on YouTube. So it's pretty amazing to think about what these folks are going to do. And you were talking about. I'll let you. You got it. This is your show, buddy.
Okay. Well, this guy, I guess he's loosely affiliated, but Zhang Yiming from ByteDance. I think
Yeah, this is your fourth. This is the fourth leg on the stool, and this is the one that's a little shady. This is the uneven leg of the stool.
So this is the one. But no, I'm really cool talking about this.
Nice.
But I mean, I don't know how affiliated Zhang Yiming from ByteDance was with this, or how involved he is in the problem I have with ByteDance right now.
Yeah. You actually, in all seriousness, you've got kind of a sticky situation that you found yourself all wrapped up in.
Yeah, no, but I want to. I'm going to do everything I can to. I want to talk about this. Because,
preach your brother. I'm right here.
So this is point number 4. So I've written a couple of articles about ByteDance. So ByteDance is the parent company behind Jinro Toutiao, Topbuzz, Douyin, which is also TikTok and Musical.ly. So they have just secured a round of funding that values them at $75 billion US,
billion with a B.
Yeah, which makes them the third most valuable internet company in China. That makes them. Everyone says BAT.
Yeah.
I mean, the BAT should be ByteDance now, right?
Right.
Because the B should be ByteDance instead of Baidu because they're more valuable than Baidu. So I've written a couple things about them because their products are. I am not a fan of their products. Let's say that, Brandon.
Okay.
So last February, I had noticed this for a few months, starting maybe in November, December of 2017. The English language version of Jinro Toutiao is something called Topbuzz.
Okay. Right.
And Topbuzz, they have a recommendation engine that learns kind of what people like to click on, right? Mm-hmm. And they recommend content for them, right?
Yes.
Like articles, and it's like popcorn, right? It's these like short little articles that are, and it's usually even their legitimate articles are garbage. I mean,
it's very clickbaity stuff.
It's clickbait. It's absolutely. So five ways to know your boyfriend's cheating on you, and
then the 20 words that are the most clicked words in that topic, and then those are all just almost in like word salad form, just like dumped into the thing.
Exactly. So I'm not a fan of that. Period, because I
can't imagine why. Because you can write and have a coherent thought. Got
it. Yeah. So I just think it's kind of I don't think it's. I mean, they have very powerful, good technology. Like, why are they doing this with it?
Yeah.
But what I did notice is that there was a ton of fake news on this platform. I mean, to the point where it was almost all fake news.
It was like seriously ridiculous stuff. If you know the Western, like the Weekly World News, Bad Boy meets Obama.
Yes,
and,
exactly.
Flies to Mars, and things like that.
Some of this you could see were kind of some of it was just like outright fake. So what they would do is they would incentivize content creators, like you get 2 cents per click for content you create. So there's plenty of ways that people can exploit that platform.
Sure,
if they're not really monitoring it.
Right.
So some of the stuff was like. They had when Roy Moore, remember the
yeah, he was the candidate for governor in Alabama or
senator, yeah.
Oh, senator, yes. Yeah. I'm sorry,
and who lost the election.
He did, right? But he was, had this pretty bad. Gives my old home region a black eye. Basically, he's like the last dying gasps of the worst part of racist legacy, essentially.
Right. But what they would do is I got a headline from them, a push message, a push notification that said Roy Moore wins Alabama Senate race. right?
Dewey beats Truman.
Yeah, exactly. But you can see why if you're trying to get clicks.
Yeah.
Do you want to put the real headline that everyone else is? No, you put the fake headline.
Like what? What? I thought that
Exactly. So you can make money off that. Right?
Yeah.
Or you have I mean, they were just looking through it. There was, is NASA lying to us? The moon is only 4 miles from Earth, which
Wow. I had no idea.
that is, that's closer than a 747 flies.
Oh, so that's not true.
It's not true.
Okay, cool.
Or you'd say that some of these were algorithmically designed. Like, so it was Julia Roberts says that Michelle Obama is not fit to clean Melania's toilet, right?
So is this like AI driven?
I think that was because you can. It's easy to
wackiness.
take. You take three big names, right, and an incendiary comment, put it together, boom, right.
Wow.
So it was just loaded with fake news, right. So I published it. Their PR was not happy. Their in-house PR was polite, didn't engage with me much. Their third-party PR was a little bullying, like a little not. Like really pushy and aggressive, but within the realms of professionalism.
They were doing their job to vigorously defend the client.
Exactly.
But they were professional.
Exactly. There was they did not cross that line. They were just you roll your eyes, right?
Yeah, right.
So I didn't write anything about them after that until about a month ago, and when I saw they've had their platform, their short video platform, either TikTok, Douyin, also. It used to be called Musical.ly in the U.S. Take off. And it's been really popular.
Sure.
And there has been some parents groups in the U.S. And a number of news reports. Because in at least in the U.S. the key demographic that uses this platform they're 12, 13, 14-year-old, mostly girls, and they're, so if you're trying to get a following on the short video app, what's going to get clicks, right?
Right, and they're mostly talking to themselves or the boys that they care about who are their age,
right?
Hopefully,
yeah.
their
Let's
age,
hope so, right? So, but you'll get stuff like I personally did not spend too much time on the platform, but
sure.
You see that they're a lot of it's they're dancing around in their underwear. They use these very suggestive. Right. Suggestive. They're singing, lip syncing very suggestive.
They're
music.
They're doing the stuff that gets attention. It gets attention for this grown up fill in the blank person. So I'll do the same thing.
It's the kind of stuff that they make it for their middle.
Right.
We were in middle school one day, right? We know what that is. But also you get these creepo guys who are on the platform sending messages, right? It's a safety issue.
Sure,
what it is.
Absolutely.
And there was this YouTube video blogger named Pay Money Wubby is his name. So he's just this kind of 20-something American guy who is trying to get a following on YouTube, and he looked up he looked up on this platform how people get what are the people that get the most followings, and it's kind of hypersexualized. And, it's he kind of flagged about the safety issue that it is. It's not just him. There have been a number of news reports and family advocacy organizations in the U.S. that have been flagging this app.
Right.
And until very recently, they had very, very, very inadequate parental control mechanisms. And from what I understand, right now it's not even what Facebook has or Twitter, right? So there is
which is fairly low grade.
Yeah,
in Twitter, you can opt in, and then you could literally see hardcore porn is there. I mean, it's you have to click the right boxes to make sure you don't have random things show up in your feed that you really don't want.
I was not aware of this.
Well,
can you tell me about how I can see porn on my?
Well, actually the reason I know there's I won't say names. There's a writer and author and speaker. He talks about a lot of things that are not all related to porn. He's also a gay porn performer, and so you follow this guy, and he's super bright, and I mean I love him as a speaker. He's very entertaining, very thoughtful, but he's also a gay porn star, and if you subscribe to his feed, I mean, you basically say, do you opt in to follow so-and-so's? Okay, sure. And then, hey, there's him. And, it's like, okay. That's how that works.
So one isn't like, there's like one post. It's inspirational speech.
He doesn't have his writer profile and his performer profile. They're integrated. I guess the good news is he has an integrated identity. The bad news is
right.
that you can see, you can see.
So it's anyway.
I'm trying to keep you on track and not make too much. I mean, that's relatively using the way I say it, but I mean, this is a pretty serious issue because you do have safety issues. You've got dudes our age writing kids,
right?
And some of the, once in a while, who knows? I mean, you might be a kid with like porous boundaries or trying to game like, hey,
what ByteDance fundamentally does, whether it's first of all, they've tried very hard to clean up their Topbuzz platform. So there's less fake news. It's still clickbait, but there's
no Bat Boy.
Yeah, there's no Bat Boy. There's no they got rid of a lot of the moon being 4 miles from Earth, that kind of stuff, which is good. I mean, good for them.
I'm sad to learn that, but that's good.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's farther, right?
Right. Sorry, it's less entertaining. Their platform.
I understand.
Right. So but what all of that is they're taking, like, what do we complain about with Facebook, right? What are the problems with Facebook and Twitter? Is that
it sucks? Oh no, you mean like more thoughtful? Sorry.
Well, it's socially, what's the problem, right? Is that they peddle fake news? Right. It's sensational, right? It makes us more divided and more stupid, right?
Exactly.
And there's safety issues as well. So what ByteDance does is it takes it and turns it on steroids. And that's where they are right now. I don't know if they're certainly trying to do things to clean up their platform. I'm not gonna say that they're not. It seems as though they are, but that's what their business model is at the time. They're McDonald's, right? So they target young people, or they target, they appeal to your basic kind of evolutionary
it's a lowest
desires.
Common denominator sort of target audience,
right?
Target market,
and they and it's bad for you.
Right.
There's not much benefit it gives, but, I guess, there's nothing that should say that they shouldn't be taken off the air, or taken offline. I like McDonald's,
Okay.
Yeah, so I like a double cheeseburger every now and then.
I ate it last night because I'm a Lao who doesn't read Chinese very well. So sometimes I look at the pictures I use my app and I know where the buttons are, but sometimes I was like, I don't know, is this tofu or is this pork or is this cow tongue or liver, and I don't know. So I'm just gonna go with the Happy Meal.
But that's like, there's a value to that. I'm not saying that they like. I believe in a free internet, so if they want to post their garbage, they can post their garbage. Yeah. But
they've been more than a little aggressive.
Well, here's the thing, and with a lot of people, so this guy Pay Money Wubby, he posted this video, had a 1.3 million views, and this guy wasn't a big popular YouTube guy, and then now he gets really popular. This video goes viral, and all of a sudden it gets taken down, and he gets a message that says you have a copyright strike, meaning that's a
big deal if you're trying to build a platform.
Exactly, you get 3 of those, you're off the air. Right? Your YouTube cancels your account. So it was from ByteDance complaining that they had improperly used the Musical.ly logo.
Which is like actually super common, but if it's somebody saying they love it, they don't care.
There are thousands and thousands of videos using that logo on YouTube. Yeah. And they want it, but
that was the leverage they used to get the strike.
Exactly. Yeah. They said they sent the complaint was in Chinese, so it wasn't the international PR that was doing it; it was the Chinese PR.
Right.
But he has a big following on Reddit and Twitch and all these other platforms, and they ended up getting complaining and getting the video back up. I wrote a piece about that, as well as other issues that TikTok has had. The parentals, the parental groups that have been complaining about it. The Indonesian government blocked it for a certain amount of time. Wow. Because what they said it was promoting indecent behavior and things like that. So. It's an issue with ByteDance, right? They have a problem when it comes to this. Now, I wrote this piece, and I wrote it for TechNode in English, right? That went out there. Once again, their third-party PR was a little pesky, but professional. Mm-hmm. Their in-house PR was fine. They they had an issue with some of the characterizations that I made or some of the way that I described some things in the article, but I stand fully behind everything that I said.
And Techno didn't feel the need to pull it. They reviewed it, didn't feel the need to pull it. Yeah.
Once again, thanks, John Artman.
There you go.
Right?
and they're not going to screw around. I mean, they're professionals,
right.
and if they honestly felt there was an issue, they would make a change. But
exactly. And then then Huxiu which is the main outlet that I write for in Chinese. They ran it and it got like 100,000 plus views in in probably about 6 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, so when it was very popular. And but then what also happens is Caifu Zhongwen, which is the Fortune magazine's Chinese affiliate, they will always rerun my Chinese stuff with permission from me, from my publisher.
Well, yeah, that's great. That's great work for you.
So they ran it. And then after they ran it, they got a message from WeChat, because they ran on their WeChat account, that said, you have a complaint for defamation from ByteDance.
Wow. Right?
Trying to take down the article.
Huh.
Right? Then basically Fortune China, they replied and they kind of contested it, and they didn't. The article's still up. But then I woke up the next one of these days, or a couple days later, and I was locked out of my WeChat account. And WeChat sent me a message that said there have been a number of complaints about violations of behavior on your WeChat account.
And this is crazy because we're in a group or two together, and I see what you post, and you're always very thoughtful, and you're not incendiary in the least.
You
have your articles, but your comments are like well within the bounds of the polite conversation.
Yeah, and I get a little political, but not. I don't think I get too political, and I don't think. And there are definitely people who are more extreme in that area.
Sure.
That I see that don't get blocked. There are maybe there was a different WeChat account that plagiarized my article that I kind of complained about. So who knows, they may have complained back. But I'd say the considering that it's ByteDance's MO, I'd say that it's. I mean, just a small WeChat account can't block someone that doesn't have the power to get that done. Right. But a $75 billion
somebody with
company
muscle
does, right? So that's my I don't know for sure.
Hard to prove, but fairly easy to assume. With high degrees of
we can
confidence.
see that's their MO, right? So, but the thing is with me is that I am in a situation where like I can fight back, right? Because I'm a foreigner, because I don't live in China all the time, because I have a whole series of situations that where it doesn't matter. They can't do anything to me, really.
Yeah.
I say I think so. I think they can't. But this is the kind of stuff that happens to Chinese journalists all the time. Yeah. And they're usually not from Beijing or not from the big cities. They make 8,000 RMB a month. They and they're dealing with these. They're trying to do a good job, and they have these big companies who will try all sorts of dirty tricks to make their lives hell, right?
And they succeed more than somebody like you that's got a voice and has outlets backing them up and things like that.
And also that I'm foreign,
right?
And I'm not, I'm not from the countryside. I don't have parents in Henan who are
that you're worried about.
Who like and who I need to bring money home for.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So that's but these people have to deal with this kind of crap, right? And for most companies in most companies are not big enough globally, or they don't use kind of these Chinese heigongguan, like the black PR, these dirty tricks, to try to attack their critics online, because they're not that stupid. ByteDance, and Huawei doesn't do that kind of stuff. And there's plenty of bad things to say about Huawei, but they do that all the time in Chinese, and what they're doing is they're just taking their Chinese text and using it on YouTube, it, but it's bullshit. Like there's no, it's mafia behavior. It's gangster bully bullshit is what it is, right? And it happens to me, right? It happened to me once here with this company, but it happens to Chinese journalists all the time. And they have to, and And they have to think about this with every article they write because they don't know. Like, for me, I have to worry about, for most companies, because most companies don't do the kind of dirty shit that ByteDance did. Most companies might have their third-party PR call me and kind of push me or kind of bug me, but stay within the realm of respectability and professionalism, right? But that's not what they're going to do with these folks here in China, right? You don't know how. So who knows? Someone's going to show up at their door, and it
might get invited to tea.
Yeah, it's just kind of garbage that that these guys have to deal with. And in this one situation, I'm seeing a little bit about what these guys deal with. And I know, I have plenty of money that's probably, somehow
like wrapped up in
in some kind of
China's stock market.
Well, yeah, or it's it's some kind of emerging market, venture capital fund, right? That's probably investing in them,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And that makes me mad, right? Because that shouldn't why and there's an article saying parents watch out. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's anyways, it makes me very upset.
I totally can't tell. I appreciate your passion, and we were talking beforehand about. I basically say, hey, don't get me deported. But it's like you're speaking the truth, and this is the fact of the matter is you're not the only person saying this stuff. You just have a little bit more of a luxury, probably to be able to voice some things that other people are thinking and writing about. Do you foresee any issues with your new? I put on like regular Big Fish hat all of a sudden with my real question. Do you foresee any issues with your new show covering the companies you're covering while you're also taking a justifiably aggressive public stance against this company?
I mean, what is the purpose of our new show? Right?
Well, there you go.
To seek truth from facts. Right?
There you go.
So, I mean, I'll be completely open about my involvement with all these companies or what and. I don't even know if ByteDance is a bad investment.
No.
I mean, they have, McDonald's prints money, right?
They keep on going, yeah.
Right? McDonald's is well managed. I'm not saying anything about that, but, they're doing some dirty stuff that, and also, I mean, part of it is my own protection, right? Like, I want them to know that, like, I will do whatever it takes and be as loud as possible about their garbage behavior. So if somebody else does that, right, or to try to G-platform me or my publisher,
there's a record,
right? Then I will be as loud as I can, right? And hopefully they won't do it to some of these good Chinese journalists who are on the ground doing good work.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Well, all right. So, special edition of Fretful Lauai with
that's me on my soapbox.
There you go. There you go. Well, man, it's great to have you in here.
It's good to be here. Yeah.
And I'm excited for your show, and I respect your strength and your resolve to fight for what you're feeling.
My self-righteousness, Brendan.
I'm trying to be polite about it, but in that series too, but in all other seriousness, man, it's great to see, and I hope we can do this semi-regularly, so we can jam on this stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right.